Everything good?
Yeah, everything's good on our end. How you doing?
Good, good. Should I is that nature like scenery, is that good for background? Should I move to more like something like bland?
I mean, it's actually pretty decent.
Okay.
Nice. Uh,
Cool.
I got no complaints on it. I'm gonna
Bet,
start
bet.
off with the intro. Then I'm gonna have you introduce yourself. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Hello, lads and gents. This is your man over Mustang, and you're tuning into Aura-Genz, your friendly local hub, anonymous Geek Squad podcast for the latest underground news and gaming and all things geek. Today, we got an electrifying interview that will light up your circuit. So buckle up because we're diving deep into the world of guest expertise. Get ready to be amazed, enlightened, and above all, entertained. Go ahead.
My name is Anthony Cutting. My pseudo name, creator name is GiftedCuddo. I am the creator of One Nation Manga. My one-shot manga just dropped on January 8th, 2024 this year. I'm excited to welcome you guys into my world and everything that I've been creating.
Shout out to you and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I started working on the idea for my manga about 6 years ago now. I was in Detroit, Michigan for my birthday at an Airbnb with my cousin, and a lot of his friends were over, and they turned on this anime called Yokio, and they told me that Jaden Smith was a part of it, and I was like, Jaden
Okay.
Smith? I was like, he's involved in anime, and then I
hmm
just was like, if he could do this, I could do this, and then that's kind of where like the journey really began.
Okay, so that's what sparked your interest at that moment.
Yeah, it wasn't even like Masashi Kishimoto or Kohei Horikoshi or any of the other like creators of shows that I actually like love and adore. It was like Jaden Smith voice acted a show that I knew nothing about.
Shout out to that. Um, it's funny that you brought up him. Lose Lil Uzi Vert.
Yeah,
The webtoon comic app series.
no, he has his own like comic thing going on.
Not necessarily his own, but on the webtoon comics, he appears as like a special guest in one of the comic books.
Oh wow,
Uh,
that's super
so
dope.
just seeing stuff like that, like be able to appear in somebody else's story, or to be the. I'm not sure if Jaden Smith owns the anime or he was just voice acting.
Yeah,
Uh, but just like just seeing stuff like that, like I think that's like I think we forgot how much we was involved in uh because like the way how our media is set up, it seems we forgot how much we was involved in different medias. Like we wasn't just into like realistic TV, being a
sure,
gangster and etc. If we go
sure,
back to our older media, we was playing out in a lot of movies. Like what happened to like the whole kung fu era when we was popping up in like kung fu movies and shit. Um, you
sure,
know,
man.
playing these like super fantasy like characters, stuff like so that been kind of lost. So the fact that that's coming back, I'm excited, for that just to see like yeah, like we can create our own world, uh,
Absolutely.
especially for the kids that was like into like Harry Potter, you know, just to get to see more opportunities to see people that look like us doing some amazing shit, being some interesting stories.
That's
So.
what it's all about.
Mhm. So, I noticed that's your passion, that you have for it too. I see that you also, you not only promote your manga, but you also, open up the bridge or the door, for anybody else that's also interested to step and dabble into that.
Yeah, I think, I live by this mantra is more life to all and less to none. And with everything that I do in my life, it's always coming from the standpoint of how can I impact the world for the better? So my overall like mission with not even just my manga, but just the way that I approach life on a day-to-day basis is to allow consciousness to go viral, to get people to really understand that all the resources and tools reside within you for you to create the best version of yourself and make this experience what it's supposed to be, which, in my opinion, is heaven on earth. life should be a joyful experience. And I think the issue comes a lot in childhood where a lot of our kids are they're not being given that love, they're not being given that support, and as time goes on they're stuck in these programs of limitation. So one of the things that's really cool about anime and manga and just comics stories in general is limitations are taken off. You can escape into a world to where you get immersed with these characters, they're accomplishing and doing all these cool things. And for me, like, that's always just allowed my mind to elevate. Like, man, this so-called fictional story is doing more for me than what they say so-called like reality is.
Shout out to that. And what exactly inspired the story for your one shot manga?
So for me, I handle the writing component. I wish I could draw, but so in a standpoint of the one shot, I did not have at this time before I started creating it a way to really introduce the world of One Nation to where I can slowly integrate a fan base into what I'm doing. So I've probably written like 23, 24, 25 episodes worth of content for my actual One Nation story. But I didn't think like starting from my original episode one was like the best way to get people into my world. So I then was like, okay, what can I do? I learned that Masashi Kishimoto, the creator of Naruto, he did a one shot for Naruto before the story that everybody knows and loves came out, where Naruto did not have the nine-tailed fox inside of him. The nine-tailed fox was actually his dad in the one shot. So it still has
Mm,
some of the same relatable components, but it was a totally different story. The same with Kohei Horikoshi and My Hero Academia. Izuku Midoriya actually had the disease that All Might had, and his name was Jack Midoriya, and he was a salesman trying to sell support quirk items to heroes. But it was like the same essence of like heroes, the same essence of like ninjas and the fox. So all of it still existed. They just put a spin on it. So I'm like, okay,
mm,
I need to do something similar. So I hired a mentor. His name is Monitor Comics, and he's done very, very, very well on YouTube. And when I first started out working on even putting together a story, it was a lot of his videos that really helped me establish the foundation. Now fast forward a few years later, I never thought I'd actually like be working with him, but during this time he put on his Instagram, hey, I'm offering mentorship services. So everything's lining up in the universe for me. Like this, like I literally like made this decision, then like the next day he's literally making this post.
mm.
So I hit him up, we connected, and I told him like, I really need you to challenge me. I believe in my abilities as a writer, but I'm never complacent. I'm always looking to improve. I'm always looking to be challenged. He did that. He pushed me. We had to revise the story several times over and over again, but at the end of it, we were able to make a product that we both felt good about. And then it was just about finding the artist and, getting everything to come to life.
Okay. And you brought up a couple good points. So when were you doing a one shot manga compared to getting a series out when you brought up, Naruto and what was the other anime?
My Hero Academia.
My Hero Academia. Um, what's some do's and don'ts, and how much are you allowed to stray away from the one shot manga?
So traditionally, a one shot is anywhere between 15 to 60 pages, and it is a story that all happens beginning, middle, and end all in one book. So it's like it ends like right there. That's the whole goal. So it really stretches a creator's ability. How soon can I convey a compelling story that people can support in X amount of pages? So when we first started working on this, he told me you have to put this and explain your story as if you're talking to a 5 year old. And I was like, wow, that really makes sense. And it's not as easy starting off, especially if your story has like a lot of different layers and components to it. You kind of have to dumb it down, but you're really not dumbing it down because he said, imagine like your favorite creator you want to collaborate with is on the elevator. You maybe got like 15 to 30 seconds to pitch this idea, this elevator pitch them about your story. So that's what he first taught me how to do. And from that standpoint, if you're going the route of a one shot, you want to make sure that you can hit on all these components. You want to first structure like, okay, how many pages does my one shot need to be? Did I make enough sense of the story in this amount of time? So for me, I knew I desired my story to be a little longer. Some would say it's probably like a longer one shot because my actual story is 56 pages. But I feel like I needed that type of like time to be able to really get my idea out in the way that I wanted to do it. So I think for a creator, to get back to the root of your question, it really depends on what the narrative is for their story. Like, is it something that they need 60 pages? Can they do this in 30? Is it like just a quick how to? So I think it's just about the idea is going to dictate the structuring of how you're going to go about formulating the one shot.
Okay. And how much are like is there like a measure for like how much you are able to stray away when you go from one shot into a whole series?
Well, I think that for me personally, for what I'm doing, like Naruto and My Hero Academia, there are a lot of things that happens in my one shot that are very much revel- uh, relevant to the actual One Nation storyline. So there's a lot of things that will stand the test of time. So, for example, the main two characters are still the main two characters. They just have different roles, and the world is constructed a little differently, but the power system ultimately is the same. So, I very much am a believer of, I like to have things follow a certain line of laws. So a lot of the things do carry over. That doesn't mean though you can't stray. Like I think
No, I'm
there.
saying it's like because like when you brought up like Naruto, for example, there are certain things that happen, or like the idea, like for example, when you talk about Nine-Tailed Fox was originally Naruto's father,
Yeah,
but when they came into the series, they created a whole new character, and
yeah.
they had a whole new role for the Nine-Tailed Fox, So I'm asking
Oh,
like how much you able to stray away from like the one shot manga when they turn into like a series.
yeah. I mean, I don't think for me I strayed away too much. Like you'll see
Maybe I
certain.
guess. No, but go ahead.
Yeah, you'll see like certain characters and they have different roles. So for instance, like one of the main, like the ruler of the world in my one shot, like she serves a different role in the actual series, but she's
Mm-hmm.
still like in there. So as soon as somebody sees her, I'm like, oh, okay, this is what he did with her. And it's like there's a few things like within the one shot that happens that way that I've seen like in a Naruto, like as you mentioned with the Naito Fox is now inside Naruto rather than him being his father, and with just the world of heroes, Deku he wasn't a hero in the one shot, but the world of heroes is still the world of heroes, and that
Mm-hmm.
disease that he had ultimately existed anyways.
So I guess what I'm trying to ask, like how much, would change compared to like the one shot. So for like another example, like Sasuke never existed in the one shot.
Yeah,
He was added on like late in the game,
yeah.
and that's something that the creator
Oh,
took a
okay,
risk on.
okay. I'm sorry, I wasn't.
Mm.
I didn't
No,
know
that
that
was
was what
my
you were
fault.
saying.
Maybe I wasn't using the correct
No,
term,
my
but
bad, bro. Yeah, so no, a lot changes, man. I mean, I have a lot of characters that are not in the one shot that are gonna play very prevalent roles in the actual storyline of One Nation. So, oh no, a lot
okay.
changes, and you want to deviate and continue to add on and build. I look at the one shot kind of just like you're opening to get into the field. It's like opening day. It's like you're really testing, engaging. Okay, can I put together a compelling story to draw audience in? So, all right, I made my audition. I picked up some traction. Can I now keep this going?
Okay. So for you, instead of using like the one shot as, because like a lot of times when it comes to the manga point of view, the one shot for them. was really like they didn't necessarily had a goal or you didn't even know what they was going to see the results of for you to get the chance to like. But for
Sure.
you, you used it as of like, you already had a vision and everything that you was going to go forward beyond this one shot manga, but you're using this one shot manga as like a ladder to, you know, the build upon that. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. And uh when it comes to this shot manga, everything in there is going to basically, play a key part or going to come back to later when you expand upon the series.
Actually, no. I mean, dude, it's so
I'm confused.
dude, it's so funny. So here's basically what plays in the manga.
Mm,
The power system is the same, so that's very
okay.
important. So like the power system people read in the manga in the one shot, it's going to be reiterated in my first volume, but there'll be if you read the one shot, you'll understand. Like, okay, he stayed consistent with how the world works, so that
o-
stays consistent. Everything
Okay.
besides that changes.
Okay. Uh, and how you go about deciding that?
Well, I've just felt that it would have been I felt it would have been difficult if I show people one power system and then I start a story and then it's like something's totally different. I didn't want to do that. I really desired to have if I knew this was open, middle, and end all in one book, what can I take away to still hold consistent? And it ended up being the power system. And the two main characters, they still exist. They serve different roles, but the power system is what stabilized the world. So all of that still stays consistent as the story progresses, even though it's a totally different story at that point.
Okay. And could you give some examples as what not going to make it to the expansion of the story?
Yeah, so in my one shot, the main antagonists are these monster villainous creatures called follows. So they are creatures that are created just from the human psyche going bad. And
Mm,
they don't exist in the actual one nation world. At least as of not now.
mm,
but but yeah, so that's a huge difference.
okay. All right. Shout out to that. And what genre does your one shot manga One Nation fall under?
Very good question. I think it's I would probably consider it shonen.
Sean.
Yeah, I would probably put it in the shonen genre simply because it's a lot of action. It's geared towards, audiences anywhere from like 12 to, 30, 35. So it's kind of like in that shonen. I mean that might be too broad of an age, but older people are going to read the stuff too than just
Mm,
the, manga. But yeah, it's a coming of age story to where a lot of preteens, teenagers, young adults will really resonate with.
and to go back to when you was like, maybe that was a broad age gap. I don't think so. I mean, if anything,
Okay.
if you want a global audience, how would you have that, large of an age gap? I think it would be pretty amazing if you got worldwide global uh attention, and then you only got like one age group.
Yeah.
I, I'm not even sure that would be oppressive or what, uh, but the fact that you can entertain, I think that shows a lot more if you are able to entertain not only your age group but people that's younger than you. That means you already your work, your craft could be looked upon as like, growing with the times, mentorship, because if these kids is, bonded by your character, they might pick up on some things like, for example, what you grow up on from like watching like a character that you really inspired by or like love, and you pick up some things from
Yeah, no, and that's the whole thing, Naruto, the actual manga, I believe, ended in like 2015 and the anime ended like in 2017. But, for the OG fans, for people like in our age group, you've been watching this since you were like 8, 9 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So this emotional connection is made as this thing expands 15 plus years into the future. The
Mm-hmm.
same with One Piece. I mean, One Piece is still going on, and it's those core OG fans. You know, you've kind of, like you were saying, you've now broadened the spectrum of what the audience was or what's even going to be. And the manga and anime community is also only growing. So you're getting all different types of age groups that are now intermingling. I mean, social media has amplified the manga and anime spaces tenfold. So now
Mm-hmm.
you're getting all types of people coming in and interacting with this genre for the first time, and it's all great in my opinion.
And I agree. And to add it on there, I'm not sure, in the Asian culture, if they got anything to represent, like, boomerang. When we used to
Yeah,
have that.
yeah,
So, when we was growing up, we had old school like cartoons with the
yeah.
present
Quick
and then
Ball
like the
McGraw.
yeah, with the future, right?
Yeah,
So, I think is one is very cool, like to have your work to affect like these different age brackets, because like that open up, the door for like for you to have that global success, for you to have, a classic amongst your work. And also in the long term, you know, just with the boomerang, when we had that with Cartoon Network, when we had that with like the new age of like during our time, there was the present cartoons, there was the past cartoons, and then there was the futuristic cartoons when we was growing up, if you remember that era. So
absolutely.
so just to have I think that's something that we missing and to bring back. And I think the fact that you already on that route, like you have a lot of power, especially when it comes to, United States, and then especially when it comes to our community, you have a lot of power with that. So I'm definitely interested to see where you're going to take this. Checking out your manga, the art styles and everything. It's like a nice mixture between comic book to like a manga style. I can see some of the influence, the way how you uh like how can I put it? The way how you space like the image and stuff
Yeah,
between uh between what like what's going on, the action and stuff. It remind me more of a comic book style, but the way how you pop it out, the colors, all that stuff,
yeah.
remind me more of a manga style. So it's a nice mixture of Western and Western culture with the East. So you definitely got something with that.
No, I appreciate that, man. And like going about, this was a first for me in a lot of ways. I never at this until this actually got a book done, so that was a first. Working with an artist who never drew African American characters, so that's a first. And there were a lot of like just different things that we had to learn as we were progressing through this process. I had to get a better idea of understanding panels. So really studying that, studying, okay, what's gonna make this scene pop? How should we go about doing this? And my artist, he really just had a eye for putting my vision together, for being so far away, because he lives in Argentina.
Mm-hmm.
And so there wasn't like face to face, like we're like drawing and cooking all this stuff up together. It's really me like doing some sketches and him like really expanding and taking those sketches to like a whole different
Okay.
imagination landscape to really make it work. So shout out Axel. And we're not working together anymore. I'm working with a new artist on what I'm doing now, but I'm still very appreciative for the time that we got to work together and create this experience, because I've learned a lot through it, and because of it, it's going to make the first installment of the series that much better.
Shout out to them. And I'm curious, when was the time he impressed you? During this project that I was working on.
So I think what really impressed me was the action scenes. They get a lot of compliments with people who've read the story in the reviews. They say you did a really good job putting together the action scenes, and I can't take credit for that, because he had to capture what I was describing in the script and see that in his mind, and bring it to life. And once my mentor was reading it, he was like, "Yeah, your artist really has an eye for comics," and I
Mm-hmm.
really just again, it's just so many things just lined up. So the action scenes, even how quick he picked up on drawing black hair textures, like for females, like he had to learn how to draw edges. He had to learn how to do like a lot of different things. So I sent him videos of this amazing artist named White Manga, who has a manga series called Apple Black, and he's from Nigeria, and he's like one of the most prominent black mangaka in the world right now. So
Mm.
I just was sending him White's videos of how to draw like knotless braids, how to do edges, how to. So he was willing to learn, and he was committed to working until we got this 100% right, to where I felt like it represented black culture authentically. Same with the freeform locks, which is what my main male protagonist rocks. So it's a style that I personally rock. So it was important to be able to have all these things be able to mesh within the world and everything that I'm creating.
Shout out to that. Okay. Um. Wow. And was there a particular reason? Not to get too personal, but was there a particular reason? Was this a relationship you just had with this one shot, or
What
did
was the
you want to?
question again?
So I'm just curious. Why the relationship came to an end? The
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I don't mind sharing that. So Axel is working on his own manga, and after
oh.
we finished the one shot, he was just like, "Hey, I really loved the experience. It was great working with you. I just know I don't have the time to dedicate to your story while I'm trying to build mine." And I respected that 100%, because
Uh,
you gotta chase your dream, and that's
mm,
that's what life is about. So I'm grateful for the time we did get to work together, and I'm supporting him as he continues to work and build his manga.
Shout out to him. Speaking of chasing his dreams, did he mention what story he was working on, or was he promoting it yet?
No, he hasn't like.
No.
I probably need to hit him up to see how the progress is going. He posts stuff here and there on his social, but I'm not sure if it's. I think it's just
Mm,
like a lot of fan art that because he likes to do fan art. But I need to hit him up, tap in to see how the progress is going.
okay. Well, shout out to him anyway.
Absolutely,
Uh, I think for anybody that would definitely tune in, give it a opportunity in checking out the manga. I definitely can't see them being disappointed by the visuals. I can
appreciate
I can
that.
guarantee that. Um, and I'm curious, do you ever hear about Black Sand?
Oh my goodness, yes.
So
That
will you have your work appear on there?
So he's actually not currently allowing people to submit work. I
Mm,
DM'd him like last year about this, but he's currently like stopped that. But I am a huge believer in everything that he is doing. I mean, he another OG that's paving the way.
mm,
Everything he's doing with Black Sands about to get an animation. I personally have invested in everything that he's doing with the project. No, I'm a huge believer in everything that he's building. He's a
mm,
trailblazer. He's
mm,
he's someone that's gone against the grain, really betted on himself, and he has grinded his way up with creating a platform to where he's giving back to the community. He's actually creating something that's uplifting black characters and black people. So, you can't do nothing but support that. And he's also given me just a lot of inspiration about finding my own way in this industry. And I strive to reach to the heights that he's reached. And, so it's just always really cool to have people that are at places you would like to go, and they're actually showing you the roadmap and the blueprint of how to get there. If you DM him, it's a good chance he actually will respond. So it's like he's I mean, a lot of people have controversial opinions about him or whatever, but I'm like, y'all just don't understand like the things this dude has been through, and what he's really like representing. He's really not an arrogant person at all. He's somebody that just is very confident, and he's just gonna stand for what he believes in. So you to me, like, I can do nothing but respect that.
and to add on to that, I always laugh at that because, like, the celebrities that they admire is rarely, those type of characters that they, try to put on people. And
Yeah,
And you're right, especially like this is how somebody is when they got a tribe that they protect.
Yeah,
You gotta
man.
gotta be a leader.
Absolutely.
So shout out to them. Okay. And I'm curious, do you know the reason why he took a pause on the
Yeah, he didn't really tell me when I DM'd him. This was sometime last year, but he said they weren't currently like accepting submissions for, people to submit their manga or their comics. But, I'm praying that he
mm,
does like open that back up soon because, I think that when he was doing that and, for the work that is still on his page, that's great because because of all the success he's doing, he's also giving back and giving creators a platform to be able to get their stories out. I know one of the big stories that he had on there was Flame. He had a couple other ones
Lion
that were
King
doing,
or
yeah,
King Lion? Good
yeah,
job.
yeah, that were doing like really well. So I mean, I do my best to stay, to keep my ear just to the community, and I'm somebody that's all about supporting and all about unity. I gotta give a shout out to my dude Michael Madlock too. I don't know if you know or heard of him, but he's working on a manga called Zeze Maru, and he's also been like another big brother for me in the standpoint of just the one-on-one conversations he's had with me and helping me become a better writer, a better storyteller. It's so many like different people that I've been able to connect with, and that's like the biggest thing that is important to me in this industry is actually having a community, having a network of people that are on the same path as you. You guys just continue to share things that helped you, hey, things that worked, things that didn't work, so everybody can collectively climb. I don't feel that there's like a limited amount of space in this industry. I believe that there's ample opportunity for everybody to be able to create what they desire to do. And not everybody has a goal to have like a mainstream big time story. Some people just want to be creators for a certain community and they make a project that resonates to them and they're satisfied with that. I just feel that so oftentimes, man, like people can make it to a big stage, and now they feel like, oh, well, I got to withhold information so this person don't get ahead of me because their story might actually be better than mine, and they start doing all this dumb stuff. So I just feel
mm,
like you don't have to do that. So when I do get to the point to where One Nation has become a stabilized foundation and entity, I'm gonna get the whole blueprint. I'm not gonna withhold anything. I'm gonna tell people exactly what it is that you have to do, so that way their path doesn't have to be as tough as mine was getting there. And every
mm.
generation, I feel it should be easier. It's easier for me now because of people like Black Sands, because of people like White Manga, because we have all these other people that are getting success. So that's what it's about. It's about continuing to give back, so we keep this thing moving, and more people climb to the top could be quicker.
I agree. And to add on to that, you brought up a couple of good points. One, why am I fighting you to entertain people?
For
Like
sure.
there's 7 billion, and it's clearly hard for one enterprise or platforms such as Hollywood to entertain all these people. So we should one that's a guaranteed necessary job if you're trying to run any country. How can you have a country without entertainment? So
For
once you get
sure.
that through your mindset, we should be open to supporting people that want to get in entertainment. Period, because automatically they're going to be creating something that's going to be enjoyment for you, your kids, your loved one, etc. Um, and then two, with the whole collaboration too, especially when we're indie, like we all independent. A lot of us, like especially now, like artists is becoming content creators, so like we all just got put into like one boat. You might as well just work with each other and see what we create out of that beautiful like collaboration.
Yeah, man, and that's because before I started really getting involved with One Nation, I used to make music. So I was making music from senior year of high school to like beginning of 2022, and it's such a different feel. Just fully focusing on the manga than what it was with music. I mean, the thing with that industry, you have much more saturation. I mean, I think there's over like 30,000 songs that get released a day. so, so it's like you have all these like people, and anybody can jump on like SoundCloud or anything and drop a track, and they're now an artist. So it's a very saturated like type industry, and I just didn't feel for the time and money I was putting in that I had a clear avenue of, okay, how am I going to make this work? And you don't do
Mm,
everything to earn like money per se, but it's like if you're a creator and you're in a business, that you're literally in a business, so you have to have like a way, okay, if this is going to be what you're desiring to do full time, there has to be a business model and a business plan of how you're going to go about doing it. And that's something that I put together for One Nation as well. And I'm just of the mindset that, the more that I'm able to obtain, the more I can give away. And that's just how I go about seeing life and seeing everything in relationship to my responsibility and obligation to humanity.
especially, yeah. Um, you know, and that's a good point too. Like, especially like rare are supposed to be united, the whole country. You know, I think it's I think we have a weird mindset supporting each other. Especially, we really heavily rely on supporting globally. Like, for example, like most of our utensils, most of our clothes is made in other country.
Yeah.
Instead of like we really don't, especially global, like well, not global, big corporations, they don't really support local people. So I think we do have to break that cycle.
Yeah, and it starts with people actually caring about getting to the root of causes of situations. And that's, if one kid can read One Nation and they feel better about life, then I accomplished my goal. I mean, that's literally the only thing that I desire, is for people to have an awakened awareness and get more in tune with their self, in a standpoint of how their mind and body are truly connected. And if you got these in the right alignment, you're putting the right things in your brain, you're setting yourself up for a more successful and peaceful life. A lot of kids aren't given these resources. They don't even know these things are out here. The only things they are exposed to is usually sports, it's usually rap, and it's usually entertainment through TV. And again, we need all these things, but that cannot always be the only driving force that is the major influence for these kids.
Mm, I agree. And bringing this back to collaborations, I'm curious, what talents do you look for, connecting with? For example, like anybody can listen to this EP. So if you want to be like, hey, I'm looking for more artists, or since we also bring artists, uh, we bring people that do their own TV shows, etc. So
Yeah. Oh, man. Oh, my goodness.
yeah, put it out in the universe. Who do you need? Do you need Batman, Black Panther?
No, yeah. No, man, I was just trying to think of some like super like talented people that I've like just come across. I'm gonna definitely DM you on that, in
Okay.
terms standpoint of like, cause I'll use like this day to actually think of, some creators that I think like are really doing some amazing things for the planet, and also just the energy that they're giving out. So
Mm,
sure.
that's what we do. Um, so for example, you got some trouble thinking. Just from the conversation that we was having on my past collaborations, G Factor. He
Yeah.
created his own comic. Oh, you heard of him? G Factor World.
Not sure.
So,
I heard of
oh,
G
good.
Storm.
G Star,
G Storm.
G Storm, G Storm. I'm not sure. All right. You can tell me about them.
Yeah.
Uh, G Factor World. They make their own comic book, and they
Okay.
got more of a toward what was that old movie? Was it Toy Soldiers or some shit?
Yeah.
Yeah, it got a similar art style to that,
Okay.
somewhat of like a 2000 like cartoon-ish style
Okay.
with it. But he's creating his own comic book and he's already working on his own like animations and stuff. I did
Uh,
have a conversation with him that he was interested in creating his own fighting game too. So
Wow.
I think that'd be an interesting collaboration with uh between y'all two. Uh
Yeah, you gonna have to. Yeah, you gonna have to plug us. That's really dope. That's a lot that they're accomplishing to be doing a
mhm.
comic and then animation and then a video game. That's a lot of creativity.
And that icing on the cake, he was also interested to make his own toys too. So if that's
Man,
something that you might be
that,
interested in. Yeah, I can
man,
get you connected with him.
for sure. No, I appreciate that big time, man.
No problem. Also, uh, I'm an idealist. So just hearing and the seeing the potential that your story got off, automatically, if you already think about going the route of animation, etc., since you already got a platform such as us, we're bringing artists. So if you are looking for collaborate with some artists that have them as a potential soundtrack, you know, just putting that
Yeah,
idea
I,
out
I
there.
think I think that as the One Nation brand continues to grow, that's definitely some stuff that I will get involved with. To be able to have like trailers come on to where we can do some more like animation type stuff to build more awareness, build more hype for everything that we're doing. So, I think, for me, it's like everything's a step by step process. Because one of the biggest mistakes I made with doing music, I feel like I was too antsy. It
Mm.
was always about a rush and a standpoint of, all right, I just dropped this track. The whole world need to hear it so I can blow up today. So
Wait, you make music?
I used to. I, uh, I made music from the time I was 17 to about 24, 23, and yeah, I was so antsy, and I think like my experiences of how I went about navigating music, it made me do everything with One Nation the exact opposite way.
Mm.
So I was able to learn through, my mistakes. Because I had a lot of like crazy experiences, man. I've been taking for money. I've been like investing in things that I
Mm.
shouldn't have. Like I'm over here trying to like do all this stuff before I really established the most important thing, which was the community. So with One Nation, it's been a totally different experience because of how I've been able to mature and grow through mistakes and things that I've
Mm.
learned through the music side.
Oh no, that's understandable. While we're just pointing out, like since our platform is bringing all these different talents, you can take it and use it to whatever your advantage is. That's all we're pointing out. Since you are technically creating your own manga, typically what comes with manga, they have an opening. They have it,
Absolutely,
so that
absolutely,
already opened up a door for you to have a reason to talk to other artists, engage with them and everything. Especially uh with collaboration, you take in each other, fan base. So,
for sure.
hmm another thing, uh, we had somebody that do their own, they had their own TV show on Tubi.
Okay.
That's somebody that we previously worked with. Shout out to McCain. Uh,
Okay. Shout out.
so I can send you get them connected with them as well. And we actually have two personal collaborations that you might be interested in. Jet Production, they make short action films. So typically they're looking to collaborate, with anybody to expand upon that. And, also like for example with artists is to collaborate with artists for soundtracks and help them create a music video. But any way that, that could come in hand for y'all to figure out how y'all can work with each other or, expand upon that, they open to it. Um they are working on a short film zombie action uh collaboration with a horror theme park. So that's something that's in the works. to look forward to if you want to see what they all about. Um, but I know from a writer standpoint, they're definitely open, to collaborate with more writers.
Man, yeah, no, that's all beautiful, man. I'm always just open to connecting. I mean, no different than we connected on TikTok. It's been TikTok has been a really good platform for me to raise exposure for One Nation. Number one, it's the most viewed app right now in the world. That's where the most people are on. But what I'm also finding out, there's a huge engagement with creators on TikTok, and that's how I've connected with you. I've connected with a lot of other artists that I'm now talking to like on a weekly basis, and really also building a fan base. People ordering One Nation, people like doing reviews, caring about the characters, and it all started with me just making a real decision that I need to get more locked in with just being consistent with content. And that's once I made that decision, the stuff
Mm,
really started to go on a upper trajectory. It's just that consistency. And I think like as creators, that's sometimes the most difficult battle. Is just like that you have the talent, but you're for some reason blocked from getting in front of the camera or getting in front of the desk to grab the pen to write or to get your to go to the studio or whatever it is for you. Is I think that's oftentimes the biggest block for creators is the procrastination aspect.
I agree. I agree. And our last and second collaboration. I'm not sure if you're interested or in the need of a 2D animator.
Yeah.
Uh, Shout out to Mason Neatladder. He create 2D animation, do logos and animations for like uh music artists, but I know he
Yeah.
do want to expand to creating his own thing as well.
Sure.
So maybe his service could benefit you if you're interested. I can send both of their information to you.
Yeah, you got a wealth of people, man. I mean, I love like what you've built here, man. I think it's how old are you?
I'm actually 27.
Oh, dude, we're the same age. I'm 26, so
Hey,
it's really cool to just meet people that are really serious about their craft and working to expand. So, like, what inspired you to really start
uh,
putting the podcast together?
so funny story. Originally, this podcast was first, like I said, I'm an idealist.
Yeah.
I take my ideas and then I match it with something that I realize that something is desirable in this world. So when I created my first podcast, it was originally known as Anonymous Geek Squad.
Okay.
Um, and it started off where I just want to show like real relationships between like amongst friends enjoying like entertainment because I know it's especially like within the movies and stuff that was coming out around like 2018, 2019, it was showing a lot of fake relationships. It was
Yeah.
showing like people just being fake friends and everything, and nobody was just being honest and real. And I was just like, yo, sometimes you're gonna be in friends group, you're gonna say like I love you, and they're gonna be like, fuck you. And that's just there was that's that's a real life, but the way how these TV shows paint it is like this pitch perfect world. And I was like, yo,
Yeah.
this shit is
For
so
sure.
ass. You know, and I grew up with the most aggressive era when we had WWE, when we had, these different movies.
For sure.
Uh so, I'm just showing a perspective amongst friends around these like nerdy, topics and just being honest and real about it. And then it started off when I was like, you know what? I had to find myself and I wanted to go solo. And I realized I was like, damn, there's not really a underground for talents, like people that just want to do shit and be creative. We won't really have a space, for us to just come together. I'm like, yo, I'm thinking about doing this. And you tell that to the world and then, just to be to find somebody and be like, yo, I'm also doing it. I'm interested. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
let's like I'm in here for the, just to be in our creative bag and shit. Let's see how far this would take us. So I was like, you know what? And I was like, yo, I don't have to compete with people. Fuck it, I could just create a platform and offer it to people to come on there and promote themselves. Um, I'm like, yo, showcase your gift, showcase your talent. Because another bone that I had to pick is with Hollywood. You know, they don't, in my opinion, they don't do enough to showcase talent. They don't do enough to, to invest in, talent. Because
Yeah,
like I said, to run a country is very important to have entertainment. So it's like the fact that so many people is going to school for this. They putting themselves to debt, and they're not getting used properly. So
nope.
I would just like to offer a space to like, yo, you're gonna get what you're gonna put out there. Uh, uh, and I'm good at bringing, uh, talent into like one location. So I was like, you know what, Origins. Uh, that's how I came up with Origins. It was just mixing. I was like, yo, this could be their origin story. Start right here. Um, so ever since then, we've been at it for a year, now after we gained some members, and they all just doing their own thing, coming together. Shout out to Jet Production. Um, and we decided like, yo, we could just offer and build upon this, and like, fuck it, just bring that underground back. Just bring, when it was just about the talent. All this
Man,
unnecessary standards and shit. Fuck that. Just we just want to have a platform for y'all to just be honest, be yourself, be true, and if y'all able to find and connect with other people, that's a plus.
man, bro, I respect the heck out of what you're doing and just having like that vision. Because, like you said, it all starts with the idea, and you just grind it and continuing to build, and you have created that. I feel since we started talking, I felt very welcomed, and you've asked very articulate questions into connecting with the guest, and also the audience and the space that you've allowed guests to come on here and express their truth and tell their story.
I appreciate it. And like I said, scam has been going up lately, so I appreciate giving us a chance and allowing us to be anonymous and helping you. Like, hey, don't ask us, who we are. Just
Oh man.
so, and I appreciate giving it a chance. And another thing too, uh, I'm really just even taking it back on some nerdy shit, finding out that the X-Men, Professor X and Magneto, that was based off of Michael X and Martin Luther King. So
Interesting. Did
I
not
was
know that.
really oh
Interesting.
so that's a fun fact. Uh, so Martin Luther King is Professor X.
For sure.
So and I was like really inspired by like the X-Men and shit. So bring this back to our culture. I was like, yo, this is really a mission for us. This is really like to have our own platform, ownership, all that shit. Uh, and this is something that I definitely. Another thing that I look at life is like, or maybe somebody said this to me. Somebody sparked this into me. What you gonna leave, for your legacy? And we always selfishly only think about our family. My
Yeah.
legacy, I think beyond that. I think this is for our people, for our culture, and this is something I want to, leave on. Just in case if I ever get reborn, we're gonna be united by then.
Man, bro, that's man, you put that so poetically, because that's you're right in the standpoint of it is kind of this only outlook of my immediate family and people that have blood ties, but not of the world being the family, and what am I really leaving humanity?
Mm. And that's
That's
something that, we don't give credit to creators. That's something that y'all do with y'all creation. So shout out to y'all. Y'all creating not only a legacy for yourself, but this could inspire, whoever. This could give somebody a reason to live. Like, yo, I was thinking about, going early to the afterlife. But that One Nation series is so fire that, I give it however long it takes for another series. you know,
that's
just able to go ahead.
bro, that's so real. Like that is so real what you're saying because you have people on two ends of the spectrum. It's somebody that woke up today like, man, I don't know if I can do another day here. And somebody else woke up today being told you only got like 2 days left here, and they would do anything to get another day. And it's like
Mm,
so crazy that you got people on both ends of that spectrum.
yep.
Yeah, it's like so you're right in the standpoint of you never know. Just seeing like something can have that first person like, you know what, I can do another day, and I got some hope, and I got some inspiration through this.
No real shit. And uh, I would also like to offer you this as well. I like your energy and I like the mission that you're going for. Um, so what we start to do is for artists, uh, they able to record a jam session promoting their music, but in the same term, we also offer you in the same sense, instead of like, the music part. Take this opportunity to record whatever messages or any update, just like you do on your TikTok. You'd be welcome
Yeah,
to do that on this platform.
man, I appreciate that, bro.
No problem. Like I
Man,
said,
I appreciate
our
that.
mission is unity.
Absolutely, brother. Nah, man, I'm a definitely like be getting people hip to what you're doing here. I think it's really important. I think like what you're doing is like some trailblazer type stuff, man, where you really just took in something, you say you're gonna make it yours, be able to share it with the world, be able to build a foundation, connection, community, man, and more people need to be hip to what you're doing because it's an act of service at the highest level.
And right back at you. You're giving us the youth, you're reminding us our old bucks. It's time to be in our creative bags. This whole we only pass down being gangsters or, these selfish desires.
Yeah.
That's not us. That's not our ancestors. That's not where we come from. We was very tribal. So, to bring back, especially what the fuck happened to sci-fi? The fuck? Like, come on, like oh man, the creativity is, lackluster right now. So this is I've
Oh,
been
it is.
telling
Yeah.
I've been telling everybody this is a golden opportunity when the big dogs can't swing. They can only be taking these punches. So go ahead, be in your creative bags. Show y'all ass, before these right now they trying to say there's no creativity, so they about to rely on AI.
Oh
And
yeah.
AI's got to steal y'all content to make, the content for them.
Yep.
So before these motherfuckers get good at producing, at stealing content and
Yep.
make it like it's their own, show y'all ass and remind the world, like, what it is to witness human creativity. Like that's what we really in the battle right now of organic creativity and then some AI bullshit that's really going to be stealing y'all content. So either way, y'all need it because they can't steal if nobody's creating. So either way, y'all gonna be needed. So show y'all ass and show the world, like especially right now since they can't swing. You know, no other. If you think about it, if there's no content coming from the U.S. and other countries, there's gonna be a new top dog for whatever genre. So,
Yep.
like for example, like during the 2000 era when it came to action, they
Yeah.
thought about Hollywood. So right now, y'all got the opportunity to be the face of whatever genre, the face of whatever entertainment. So especially like when it comes to manga, first of all, we never in the Western culture, we never really accepted that term. We stick to comics. That's what we call
Yeah.
our shit. So if you if you're going to go by, identify your one nation, by comic or by manga or both, or best of both worlds, wherever that image is. If you take that out to the universe first, that's who they're going to think of. That's what they're going to think of. That's what they're going to come to. So no matter where they go, like, like, oh, because I saw, or I was in, I saw One Nation. Um, when I come to the Western culture and I try out any comic book, that's my go-to. Just like when we had that same perspective when it comes to action. When it comes to manga, we typically think of Dragon Ball. We typically think of
Yeah.
Naruto. because they set those standards. So right now, from the Western culture, the only standards that we had is Hollywood, and they can't swing at the
That-
moment, and they can't swing. So right now, it's really y'all moment to call that shit. So this is what we doing. We putting y'all out there to showcase y'all gift and show the world what y'all got. So keep swinging. I definitely believe in your work. Um, uh, I think the One Nation One Shot uh is damn near a complete package. And I also saw that you also do some merch as well.
yeah. So so what happened was, man, when I was making music, I I had a lot of stuff like printed out, sell this, get this to this, like T-shirts, wristbands, whatever, whatever else. So I'm like, man, I didn't sell a lot of this stuff. So when people buy a book, I'm gonna just get them extra stuff. So like, yeah, I need to get rid of this stuff anyway. So it's like just an additional token of my appreciation for anybody that supports the One Nation brand. I'm gonna throw in extra items that you just get as a bonus.
Okay. All right. Say no more. Um, Hitting the hour mark. Uh, I'm gonna have you shout out your platform. Shout out anybody that you want to put on, and then clearly, drive the attention back to your one shot manga and where they can go, buy, support. I'll
Yeah,
leave that.
no, for sure. I thought I had. I'm gonna be right back because I thought I had one of my books in the office. So I'll be right back.
Mhm. No problem. Putting in to the commercial break, ladies and gentlemen. Uh, go follow, show him love, tune into his comic book. I think it's great. I think I would definitely enjoy it. Um, Anybody that's looking to connect with somebody that's already doing this field, this is your guy. So tune into him if you're interested in comic books, manga, creating your own. If you got some questions, I'm pretty sure he'd be up for the task.
But this here is my one shot manga, One Nation. A link is directly in my bio. You're able to get physical and digital copy, autograph edition. I throw in some extra items as well. And, I'm just super thankful for the opportunity to be able to promote what I'm doing here. And, for anybody that is working to create anything that is artistic, know that you can do it. All it takes is an idea. It just takes a vision, and then you just work to put that vision into creation. And with that type of like mindset and work ethic, it's no choice but for the universe to be able to acquiesce to what your intention is.
Shout out to and you shout out all your platforms, correct?
Oh, yeah. Let me do that. So I am on social media at One Nation Manga on TikTok, Instagram. Soon gonna be getting on X as well as LinkedIn, but TikTok and Instagram at One Nation Manga. You're able to follow me. Weekly content comes at least 5, 6 days a week, and I'm committed to just giving y'all the best version of myself and the best product possible.
Shout out to him. All right, it was great to have you on this podcast. Definitely look
Bro, I'm
forward to
so
getting
thankful,
that.
man. Thank you for having me, brother. I'm definitely gonna be tapping in and getting people hip to all the amazing stuff you're doing here.
Much love. All right.
All right.